everyone, welcome to the session. So I hope that until so far you will be having a very good understanding of a heap data structure. What is min heap, what is max heap, how basically heap sort will work. Everything in depth we already have covered up. Now the most obvious question which can be in your head is that whenever we are going for an interview and whenever we are preparing for that, do we require the implementation of all those things, or maybe what kind of questions can be asked from you from that aspect? So see, the very first point is that whatsoever things we have covered up in our complete portion of this heap data structure, everything is very important whenever you are preparing for an interview, because these are the fundamental things that you should know. On top of that, now you will observe that specifically when you're writing a code in a Python, they have made everything easy. The developers already have written the code there. So if you will go inside the documentation of this heap PQ, I would highly recommend you will go there. You will be now easily able to understand each and everything. So whatsoever concepts we have studied. So the good thing about Python programming language is that we have the packages, we have the libraries, we have the functions which we can call directly to do our task. But the bad thing is that there is so much abstraction. So see, here I am here for you to explain all these concepts. But when I studied these concepts for the very first time, it took me a long time to understand those things from the standard books. So now, once you will be able to understand those concepts, now it will be very easy for you to understand what is this heap push function. So now you know that how basically the insertion will happen in an heap data structure, or given a value, how you can insert it in a min heap. What's the complete process? You completely know that. So now you don't need to write a code step by step. If you want, you can. But I would certainly recommend that you can directly use this. You can import this heap PQ package whenever you are writing a code, and whenever you are in a need to use the heap data structure. And after that, you can simply directly call these functions. For example, there is a task of insertion of an element, which you know will take order of log of n time. So you can simply call this heap push function to push an element inside a min heap. Similarly, to delete any element, we already seen the operation, we already know the concept now. So it's not like that we are just calling the function and we don't know the internals behind that. That's the important thing, that whenever you are calling any function, whenever you are using direct packages of anything in a Python programming language, specifically I'm talking about, you should know the internals of the same, right? Similarly, when we used to study machine learning or data science domain, so again there are so many packages in Python that is provided to us. For example, in machine learning algorithms, we have sklearn libraries, right, to call the linear regression, to call the logistic regression, and any other algorithm as well. But the internals of that, but the mathematical intuition of that, you should know, right? It's not like that we are just calling it and we are doing the implementation and we don't know the internals behind that. That is the very bad way to learn anything. It's just that you are doing for the sake of doing. But what I am saying here is that you are doing for the sake of learning. So once you are good with the fundamentals, once you know that how basically things are working, and now you know about the heap data structure, how things are working, now it's not a bad idea to go for this kind of a documentation once. Take a read of that step by step. See what are the methods are there and which kind of methods you can use to do your task. For example, you want to get largest elements, you can call dot and largest function. You want to get the smallest elements, you can have n smallest function directly. And these functions only I will be using, and I am discussing today in this session as an interview question, which is very much vastly asked. Maybe in my audience or in my students, there might be a question. Please do let me know if you have faced already this question in an interview as well. So the question says, it's very simple. What it says is that suppose you will be provided an array. Suppose you will be provided an array which contains the numbers, which contains the elements. For example, here if you will observe, we will be having the values as maybe 1, 1, 1, followed by 2, followed by 2, followed by 3. Suppose this is a kind of an array that is given to me. Now what is the objective here? The simple objective is to calculate the top k frequent elements. For example, if I will say that the value of k is equals to 2, so what is the meaning of that? I want to say that give me the top 2 frequent elements, top 2 frequent elements in an array. Fine. So here if you will observe one thing, what I want to show you here is that when we see here there are 3 unique elements that we have. First of all, 1, 2 and 3. How many times 1 is repeating? Mainly 3 times. How many times this 2 is repeating? Mainly 2 times. How many times this 3 is repeating? Mainly 1 time. In total 1, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So in total, if you will observe, we will be having 6 elements. The index will by default will start from 0. So it will move towards 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Right? So the question says you need to find out the top k frequent elements. One of the vastly asked question in an interview. Now, one thing here you will observe, if I will create some dictionary kind of a structure where this is the key, right? The unique elements that I have, and this is the value, then I will be able to find out the topmost frequent elements. For example, if I am saying that the value of k is 2, so the answer will be simply equals to, so topmost is this 1 and 2. So top largest elements according to the frequency I am saying is 3 and 2. So the output should be equals to 1, 2. So this is something which I will say is the expected output. This is something which I will say is the expected output that we are getting here. Right? Fine. So this is the question that is given to us. So basically a user will provide 2 things. One is the array, another one is the value of the k. After that, it's your task to give the user the topmost k frequent elements that you have. So simply here you need something called as a frequency as the most important thing. And according to that, you will be certainly able to find out the values, topmost k values. Now if you will try to observe here, the simple intuition behind this is that if you already aware about one package called as counter inside the collections in Python, which is basically responsible for the same task, that is to count the frequency of each element in an array. This is the responsibility of this particular counter value. So to count the frequency of each element in an array. So what I can use is that I can use this particular package from the collections. I can import that and then I will be able to find out this particular value. Once I will be able to get this particular value, what I can do is that I can import the heap pq package completely, and inside that what I can do is that if I will be able to call that n largest elements, so and I will give the value k, which is the numbers, how many numbers do I want, and on what basis? On the basis of this frequency value, which you can specify as the value of count.keys, you will be able to get the most frequent elements. So here I will try to show you the implementation so that the things whatever I am saying here will be easily conveyable to everyone. Okay, let me open the Jupyter notebook here. So top k frequent elements. First of all, what I can do is that let me write the driver code here. So in the driver code, what we can do is that we can take the array, for example, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2 and 3. This is a kind of an array that I have. and the value of k is equals to 2, means what I want is that I want topmost 2 frequent elements here, right? I hope this is clear. Now what I can do is that I can call the function. So there is a function calling. So here there is a result which I am storing by calling the function top k frequent elements. So this is the method name which I am calling, and inside that I am passing the array as well as the value of the k, and I can print the result by saying the top k frequent elements are, and here we can simply say result. Now what I can do is that I can simply call the function definition here, and here we can simply define the method that we have created, right? So I can just copy this here. Now what I can say is that, so first of all we need to understand that what can be the base case condition that we can imply here. Okay, just assume that if the value of the k that you are saying is equals to the length of the array that you have, at that point of time simply what you can do is that you can simply return the elements present inside the array, right? Because if you will assume, for example, I am saying that the array contains, suppose something like this, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you are saying that give me the 4 frequent elements. Give me the 4 frequent elements. So at that point of time, what is the output? Output will be the array itself. So you can simply return 1, 2, 3 and 4, because that is the most frequent elements, because the value of the array that you have, which is equals to n is equals to 4, is equals to the value of the k as 4. And if they both are equal, at that point of time you can simply return the array. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, now why I have used set? I have used set intentionally. Suppose what I am saying here is that suppose I am having this kind of structure. So you can ask this question from an interviewer, so whether he wants to repeat the elements or not. Here I am assuming that I don't want to repeat the elements, and set is a kind of a data structure which will not give us the duplicate elements. That's why I am using that. If interviewer is saying that he doesn't have any issue in terms of repeating the elements, then you can simply return the array as well, right? It depends on the use cases. So for example, here I am saying that I am having this kind of a structure, okay? And here again I am saying that the value of k is equals to 4. So when the value of n is equals to 4, here also n is equals to 4, and I am saying that the value of n and the value of k is equal. So what I am saying is that in this point of time, I don't want to repeat the elements. So it will just print me the value as 1, 2, 3. Even though I am asking the topmost 4 elements, I am getting the 3 elements, which signifies to me that there is a 1 element which is repeated here. So these are the 3 unique elements which are the topmost frequent elements in a way. That's the simple, I would say, intuition behind writing that. Right? I am side by side telling you each and every intuition, whatever my mind is thinking as of now. And that is what you should know whenever you're writing your code as well. Okay. Now if this is not the case, if suppose this is not the scenario, then what I want is that I want to use that counter. So what I can do is that I can say from collections, first of all, import counter, so that I can use that. As well as I want to import the value of heap PQ. Okay. Now what I can do here is that, I can use one variable now simply called as count, and I can call that function as counter. So this counter function, what it will try to give to me, it will try to give me a dictionary. So this results to me a dictionary where if I think show you as well. Let me return a count. Let me show you basically what this count will return to us. Okay, so can we print that? Let me print if I will be able to get something out of it. No. So here I think I will be able to print by specifying the keys. So I will show you that thing. So basically what I'm saying is that this counter will be able to give us the key value pair, where key is the unique elements that we have and the value is the frequency of that element. I will show you, just wait a minute. Now basically what I am doing is that I am saying basically what I want is that I want the top largest element. So what I can do, heap pq dot n largest. In this way I can show you the values. So here I am specifying how many number of largest values I want, k values, right? Here if you will say, I will say count dot keys. So if I will call this, I will be able to get the output. I should be able to get the output now. So I can return this statement. So here if you will see, I will be able to get the topmost k elements, which is having a high frequency. Now, why it is not returning anything? So here, it should return. Oh, we are not passing any array. How it will return? Okay, now I think it should be fine. Yes, but output is not fine here. So here we will be able to get the count. Fine, let me print the value of the count. What is the value of the count I am able to get here? So this is what I was telling to you at that point of time. It is just giving me the value key as the 1, 2 and the 3, and the value as the number of elements, the frequency 4, 3 and 1. So what we can do is that we can pass one more parameter key, which is equals to count dot get. Okay, so now here if you will be able to see, in n largest we will be having the 3 parameters. If you will observe the documentation, let me try to redirect you again with the documentation part. This n largest will contain the 3 parameters. Although this key is equals to none is a optional parameter. If you want, you can define. If you don't want, it's okay. It's completely fine. Let's try to understand what are these 3 parameters all about. First of all, this n is something that how many number of elements you want to print from your data set that you have. So here this value of n is something which is for our purposes k, that I want to repeat, I want to display the k largest elements present inside my dictionary. Then iterable is something on which particular value you want to iterate. So there we have defined the count dot keys value. And what is the key? So what is key here? Basically, if you will observe, key is something, it specifies a function of one argument that is used to extract a comparison key from each element. So what is the point where you want to do the comparison? So I want to do the comparison on the frequency portion. So that is what we are defining in our code. So now here if you will observe, clearly we will be able to get that, okay, on this particular parameter I want to do the comparison and give me the topmost 2 values. So here if you will observe, it will be able to give me the output as 1 and the 2. If suppose I will change it to 3, let's see what will happen. Now here if you will see, you will be able to get the value as 1, 2 and 3. Correct? That is something which I want to show you. So this is the simple, I would say, method to basically find out the topmost k frequent elements. Here basically if you will see, the logic is very simple. The one thing here which I did mistakenly is that we have to use the add. That's why at that point of time we are not getting some output. If you remember when I was showing to you. Anyhow, now here if you will observe, once you will enter this, so you will be able to get a point that this count is nothing but is a dictionary now, which contains unique values as the key, and if you will observe the frequency of those unique elements as the value. That is the important thing, and that I have just displayed you also. If you want, you can just remove this, because the major purpose is not to go into that part. It's just for those who are not aware about this this method. The major purpose is here to get that largest topmost frequency, right? So here that is something which we will be able to get using this method. I hope that now you will be able to see that here we are utilizing the property of heap data structure, and how basically we will be able to utilize that. That is a very crucial point to understand here. The important objective here to show you these interview based questions is to make you familiar that there exists directly this documentation where you can directly use these methods of heap data structure, which we just have studied in our previous classes, right? Whatsoever concepts we have studied, you can directly use that by just calling one method here. We do have all these methods. So I would suggest everyone to go towards that standard documentation as well, which I just showed you, in order to utilize those functions, so that if in future you are using, if you are facing these kind of questions, you can directly use these functions by just importing the values of heap PQ. I hope that I am making sense to everyone. Whatsoever concepts I have shown you in this particular session is pretty much clear to everyone. If you still have any sort of doubt, do let me know in the comment section, and I will for sure try to resolve it as soon as possible. With this, happy learning to all. Bye-bye everyone. See you soon in my next upcoming video, where now I will discuss about another interview based question which is based on this heap data structure. I hope that you all are enjoying it with me. Happy learning to all. Bye-bye everyone. See you soon.